Good morning. The Honourable Penny Wong, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honourable Michael McCormack, Shadow Minister for International Development and the Pacific, Excellencies and members of the Diplomatic Corps, secretaries and heads of agencies, colleagues, friends and families. I welcome you to Kings Park in our nation's capital of Canberra. I acknowledge the Ngunnawal people, the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet, including this beautiful foreshore, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I recognise any other people or families with connections to the lands of the ACT and region, and I acknowledge and welcome other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be here today. We have come here today to mark the almost 20 years that have passed since the Indian Ocean tsunami on the 26th of December 2004, and to honour the memories of the Australians and all of those from around the world who lost their lives on that terrible, tragic day. To those who were present on that day in 2004 and to those who responded in the aftermath, we acknowledge the indelible effect on each of you. Our thoughts and deepest sympathies are with you. Some of you I know have come from interstate to attend, and we also have representatives from the Diplomatic Corps from some of the countries that were affected. We are honoured by your presence today. I now invite Senator the Honourable Penny Wong, Minister for Foreign Affairs, to the lectern.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri peoples, and paying my respects to elders past and present and to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person here today. I acknowledge all the dignitaries, my parliamentary colleagues, members of the Diplomatic Corps, leaders in the public service and in the ADF and the AFP. But most of all, I want to extend my acknowledgement, my recognition to the survivors and the families of those we lost. I want to say to you that we stand with you. I want to say to you that all these years later, we continue to honour your resilience, your courage, and your enduring love for those who are no longer with us. Those we lost in one of the worst natural disasters in history, claiming the lives of close to 250,000, displacing a staggering 1.7 million people across 14 countries. And of course, we lost 26 Australians. Poor Jardina, just 16 years old when the tsunami struck, and the immense force of the swell separating him from his parents at Patong Beach in Thailand. And his father Joseph, here today, endured the creation and ensured the creation of this Tsunami Memorial. Catherine Glinsky, walking with her 3-year-old niece, Sasha Shrikal, on the beach in Thailand. Moy Vogel on her honeymoon. A day earlier, she told her family she was pregnant. 31-year-old Avadja Berman and his partner Nicola Leibovitz on holiday, looking forward to settling in Sydney. Kim Walsh separated from her husband at a resort near Phuket. Every life lost, a story unfinished, hopes unfulfilled, and a hole in the hearts of those who are left behind, each one of them deeply loved and profoundly missed. Their names, along with 16 others, inscribed here side by side. So, to those of you here today to remember them, please accept my sympathy and my condolences 20 years on. Their stories and the shocking widespread devastation triggered an immediate response to the Australian government and the Australian people. So many of us with heritage across this region, family across the region, friends across the region. Australia became one of the biggest donors of aid, and Prime Minister Howard made the right call providing $1 billion in assistance to Indonesia. Australian agencies pitched in on relief and recovery efforts, the AFP, ADF, officials from the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and so many others. And tragically, 9 members of the ADF lost their lives responding in the aftermath. And today, we remember them too. Their sacrifice a testament to the best of who we are. But of course, it wasn't just Australia who responded. Nations of our region came together. Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Indonesia, India came together in the spirit of our humanity, our shared humanity. And we resolved to avert a repeat of such an awful tragedy, including by working together to establish a regional tsunami warning and mitigation system. See, together we saved lives, and together we rebuilt communities. And together we showed that our bonds are stronger than any force that seeks to undo them. Together we confronted the worst of nature with the best of humanity. And we undertook to prevent a tragedy such as this again, with the Australian Tsunami Warning System, which now works with agencies across our region to create a comprehensive warning and mitigation system. Whether in response to natural disasters or the challenges of our shared future, we must continue to work together as neighbours and as friends. So, on Boxing Day, 26th of December, we will again remember those we lost, and we will also remember those who still grieve and miss. We will honour the survivors and pay tribute to the first responders and aid workers who gave so much. But most of all, let us continue to reaffirm the spirit of unity and compassion that defined our response. So can I thank you all for joining us in this act of remembrance. May we never forget those we lost, and may we carry forward their memory in all that we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I now invite Honourable Michael McCormack MP, Shadow Minister for International and Development and the Pacific, to the lectern.
Well, thank you very much, and I too acknowledge that we are meeting on the Ngunnawal and Ngambri territory and acknowledge any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people present. I genuinely thank Senator Penny Wong, Foreign Affairs Minister, for what she does for our country and for other nations too. I acknowledge Richard Bolton, who is representing the Chief of Defence Force. I see also we have Andrew Colvin, the former Commissioner for the Australian Federal Police. Acknowledge, as Senator Wong has, the Diplomatic Corps. Acknowledge people who work in the emergency services. But most of all, I acknowledge the family and the relatives of those whose names are on a plaque on this beautiful memorial just behind us, in this tranquil, serene, beautiful place. It's a place of peace. It's a memorial to the lives lost. And each of one of those plaques represents a story. As Senator Wong has said, an unfinished life, an unfulfilled story. And the pain, especially each Christmas time, must be almost too hard to bear, because Christmas tables shouldn't have an empty chair, and yet for each of you in your homes there is that empty chair representing that person who lost their life in that terrible tsunami. And we do thank the Australian Defence Force people who came to the assistance of those who were affected by this tragedy. We especially acknowledge those ADF members who also lost their lives in this tragedy. And I met, and Penny acknowledged him, Joseph Jardina. Joseph has come up here from Melbourne. He and his wife, Nirvana, lost their little boy, Paul, 16 years young. Paul had all his life to live, and there is no word in the English language for a parent who's lost a child. For a child who's lost their parents, it's called orphan. There's widow and widower for a spouse who's lost their partner. But there is no word in the English language for a parent who's lost a child, because that should not be and is not nature's way. It should not happen. And to Joseph and Ivana, I know Joseph is here today, and we had a chat, and he said that the pain never goes away. It's always there, each and every day. Thank you for helping us to construct this appropriate and beautiful memorial, Joseph. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him and the efforts that he has gone to, not just to remember his son Paul, but to remember the other 25 as well. And thank you all for coming out today for this special memorial, for this special anniversary. And we should go on remembering, we should go on mourning, and we should go on always thanking those Australians who not only lost their lives, but those Australians who went to help. Because as Senator Wong very appropriately and beautifully and eloquently said, as she always does, you see the best of Australians in the worst of times. And that was the case then. That is the case as always. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out for this very special wreath-laying ceremony, for this day of remembrance. And may you all have, as best you can, a happy Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. McCormack. I now invite Minister Wong and Minister McCormack to each place a floral tribute on the memorial. I now invite any friends or family members who wish to pay their respects to their loved ones to come forward to take a floral tribute and to place it on the memorial. I invite representatives of the diplomatic missions of Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia and Sri Lanka to place floral tributes on the memorial. This brings our formal proceedings to an end. If any other guests would like to place floral tributes on the memorial, please feel free to do so and to take the time to reflect and remember. Thank you again for joining us this morning, and please join us for refreshments. Thank you.